I guess I need to come on the screen. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. How y'all doing? Look, I just got a little discombobulated. Y'all know I'm doing this Free Texas campaign, Voices from Behind the Wall. So sometimes I get these calls and like I just got thrown off. I just I'm getting ready to allow one of our guests to come up and share, and he just informed me of something that happened there. And y'all know me, y'all know my story, so that can discombobulate me. So I was over here, y'all, talking. I was actually over here talking behind the scene. I was behind the scene talking. So y'all ain't heard nothing that I just said. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Free Texas campaign, Voices from Behind the Walls. Of course, I am Angela Thomas Smith, the queen of collaborations across these social media sites. If y'all would please share this in your circle of influence, because you never know what the next person may need or may be in need of, or who this may be of service to, because you never know when you may find yourself in a particular position. So please share this in your circle. If you are tuned in, if you have questions, if you have comments, please post them in the comment section so that I can ask my guests. I am going to move out of the way and allow my guest to come up and introduce himself. If you would, the floor is now yours.
How y'all doing, everybody? Good morning. My name is Mike Herrera. I am currently serving capital life sentence at the McConnell unit in Beeville, Texas. My case stems from 1994. I was 17 years old when my crime was committed, and I've been locked up ever since. I was convicted under law parties in Bexar County in San Antonio, where upon appeal, writ of habeas corpus and everything was denied upon me. You know, there's different circumstances that come with financial burdens on my family and on myself and everything. So I've been here. I spent my entire more than half of my life in prison. I've been here for 26 years. It's going on 27 years flat in January the 10th. And, you know, coming to prison at a young age, you see a lot of things that have changed. And there's a lot of injustices that happen in here because outcries that we do to the administrations and the officers, sometimes they go upon deaf ears. And when they go upon deaf ears, it's every man for himself. And I got into the system when I was 19, 20 years old. So it was in the 90s. So there was a lot of fighting and there was a lot of rapes and things that happened in here that, you know, went all on deaf ears because we would ask administrators for help and they would, their good response was, hey, go handle your business. You're a man. You're in prison now. You're in the big house. And, you know, that turns a person from being an innocent-minded, yes, I committed a crime and whatever happened, but it turns you into a monster within yourself because you're dealing with people that are all criminally minded. And this administration, the administration in TDC, period, doesn't help much. And being where I am now, and at this point in my career in prison, it's been worse because there's been a lot of budget cuts and everything. So we're eating less than we were before. And there's a lot of people that turn to, you know, the alternative. And as I was explaining to Angela right before we went live, there was a suicide this morning. And a guy did successfully commit suicide, which is sad because I knew the guy. They called him Arizona, and this was out in the dorms. And it's saddening because we're so short of staff. TDC around, all TDC is so short of staff that they don't have nobody to really do their round and, you know, solicit little conversations with us about what's going on or what's happening within someone because there's simply nobody to talk to. In regards to that, I am a peer educator here at the unit, and I speak on the awareness of K2. And even when I go and speak to people and teach classes on K2 awareness and the dangers of it, I've spoken to the wardens and tell them, hey, this is what's going on. And sometimes most of the time the response that we get is, well, you need to get with your captain and get with this person and get with that person. And it's like, again, it's like a circle. But there's some of us in here that do the best that we can to help people in here. But it's hard for us because a lot of us don't have family out there that helps us. You know, we need people to help us advocate, you know, and here the outcry is they don't want to change the law. They don't have families involved. We have to get everybody involved to make some type of change for all these injustices that are happening, because there's kids that are coming to maximum security prisons. Where I'm at the William G. McConnell unit, where it's a maximum security prison, where we're actually getting kids that are 18, 19, 17-year-olds that are coming here, and they're getting abused in different ways, whether it's verbally, whether it's sexually, or whether they're getting beat on and stuff like that. They just don't have the manpower to sustain a person's safety. So again, we become a society where it's every man for himself, and it's like we're living in a third world country, because there's times where our power goes out for a couple of days, or we don't have any water for a couple of days, and it's sad, because there's some of us that, we have families that are stable, and we're fortunate enough that they send us a little bit of funds, and we share with whoever we can. It's like in here, it's every inmate for himself, but yet you have inmates that have compassion for others, and we try and help as many as we can. But without the help of people out there to try and change things for people in here, I understand. And we're in prison, we've committed crimes, and a lot of us deserve to be punished for what we do, but we get sent to prison as punishment. We don't get sent to prison for more punishment. And that saddens everybody in here and people out there, because there's simply families that can't help, and they don't have an outcry out there to help anybody, because they're either, a lot of people can speak both languages, English and Spanish. I'm fluent in both. And I'm a translator here for some of the guys that come that are illegals and can't speak any English. So I help as much as I can in that department. But when we have people that can't speak no English, and they're getting railroaded by these officers because they don't care whether they speak English or not, I mean, it's a sad thing. And they don't have no family, because they're wherever they may be, in Mexico, Southern America, or wherever. And we're stuck here. We're a society, like in this society in here, you have a lot of would be like fathers in here, father figures for all these youngsters that don't have any direction. And me being incarcerated mostly all my life, I'm considered one of those figures, and I'm only 46 years old. So, I'm considered an OG, where I don't like that title, because I'm not an original gangster. I ain't nothing like that. I'm just a person that likes to try and help everybody. And I have problems of my own. Like I said, I got incarcerated when I was young. I have 2 daughters out there in the world. One of them's 31 already, and one of them's 29. One of them's addicted to opioids. And it's a sad thing, because all my grandkids are just everywhere else with other people, with their families, because my daughter has a problem that I can't help fix, because everything that I've done in here, I've got my GED, I've got my trade, I've done everything possible to try and make things better for myself, yet everything that I've done is for nothing, because I have a capitalized sentence with all my appeals and my remedies already done. And all I can hope for is that our representatives and our senators in Congress make some type of change to where they recognize 17-year-olds as juveniles as they have in other states in America. So, it's hard being stuck at a dead end. Yet I don't let that bring me down, because I have family that I love, and they love me and they care for me. So I stay strong for them. And more than anything, I have to stay strong for a lot of these guys that get locked up, because it's not easy. Being locked up in prison now, it's not easy, because there's a lot of different ethnicities. Everybody comes with different ideals, and to walk in a straight path in prison, it's very, very hard. It's very hard for somebody. A lot of people like to turn to religion and stuff like that, but it's simply much more than that, because again, the short staff, everything that we try and do, it just gets shut down. We get stonewalled every time. We want to go to church, we get stonewalled. This morning, there was people to go to church and do other these functions. We couldn't go because of this unfortunate suicide and stuff like that, but yet they canceled everything. So, we get stonewalled every step of the way. So it's kind of hard. So to draw back a little bit on me and my case, my cases are carjacking. Yet when I was going through an evidentiary hearing to my court, the judge, when the attorneys were bickering about who's going to go to trial with who, because it was a all parties case, the judge, I was already in a loss, because the judge simply told the lawyers, does it matter who shot who? Of course it matters. There's no principal actor in my case, yet here I am for all parties, and the person who actually did the killing is out in the world. And, that's an injustice in itself. And I'm here all this time to do everything and anything that I could. And when I got convicted and I tried to fight my case, my judge later became DA of Bear County. So I was in a losing battle from day one. And through all that, seeing what was going on with my kids and my family and everything was really heart-wrenching, because now, at the time, I had to turn to the life of TDC, of prison. And that life took me in a turn to where I had to fend for myself. And unfortunately, in the 90s, when he came in, I was in the John B. Connolly unit, and it was gang infested. So, of course, I was part of a security threat group so that I could survive at a very young age, because there really wasn't much more I could do to protect myself. Not that I used them as that, but I had to do that because I was so young and I was prey. I was prey to the predator. Simple as that. It was one of those things where there was a fight or flee, and there was no fleeing because nobody was going to hear you. So it was fighting for your manhood, for your respect, for whatever you may think of in prison. And we see these shows on TV that portray prisons for what they are or what they should be, and prisons are nothing like TV, because things can happen at a couple of times. Things aren't planned. A person can die in a heartbeat. These administrators, they can kill you in a heartbeat. There's been officers that have beat on us when they have us in handcuffs, and really at the end of the day, we're like, hey man, what are you doing? Someone was trying to say something, we get shut down, they move us, they lock us up, they put us in different places. And there's a lot of things that society does not know that happen behind these walls that they should be aware of. And a lot of times we're misinformed of everything that happens, because as a society feels that if an authority figure tells them something, then that's what it is. And that's not really what it is in real life. In real life, when an authority figure makes a decision, it's because they're either trying to look out for themselves because something went wrong, or they're just trying to oppress somebody.
That's it.
Here we are in Texas. Here we are. Excuse me?
I said that's it. I mean, you dropping a lot of knowledge, and the whole means behind the Free Texas campaign is to do a lot of just what you're saying need to be done. Like, we want to hold these people accountable. We want, why are you blacking out the number on the parole thing? Why are you blacking out the numbers? Why are you being so secretive? Where's the transparency in all of this that they're doing? There is none, because there's evidently a lot that need to be covered up, and they're covering up a lot, and it's sad.
And, it's sad, and you're right, and you're definitely right. All these years that I have been incarcerated, people may not believe this, but if there was a way for people to actually see the records of the people that are being released on parole, and what I mean the record is their disciplinary record, their time being done here in prison, the person that has the most bad infractions on the disciplinary records, those are the people that they let go home.
You know why?
But
do you know why they do that? This is something that a couple of us have talked about. A couple of people that are currently incarcerated and have been incarcerated there at TDC, Jay, for 20 to 30 years. You're talking about people that have been there and have seen this and witnessed just what you're talking about. This is the same thing that I'm getting across the board, and this is coming from different people at different facilities that do not know each other. These people do not know each other, and for y'all to be saying the same thing, I know what you're about to say. If you go back and you look at their records, you're going to see that they have more disciplinary cases. They're getting out. And you know why they're doing that? Because they know that a lot of these people that have all these disciplinary cases, they're going to offend again, and they're going to come back. And when they come back, they're not going to go home no more. And they're going to be able to get that free label for the rest of their lives. And that's what they're betting on. That's what they're packing on. They want to release the ones that they know going to commit crimes and come back. They don't want to release the ones that they don't think is going to reoffend. because then it will block their
No.
money. It will block their what they got going on. See, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Prison system is a multi-billion-dollar industry. These people are making and pocketing so much money to it's ridiculous, and it's all about money to them. They don't care nothing about the inmates. They don't care nothing about your human rights. They don't care nothing about just your simple essentials of life, the simple things that people should have to survive. They don't care because it's evident by the food that they serve. A slap, a piece of bread with peanut butter in the middle and call it a sandwich. Put soup on some bread and call it a sandwich. A piece of pancake or a piece of cornbread or a piece of meat and then you throw it in a sack and you do all this. No, this is what you're doing. That's what you do to animals. These are people. And see, the state of Texas have this thing where they do not believe in rehabilitation. They do not believe that
No.
you can be rehabilitated. So they are not going to put in place things that will help you to be rehabilitated. They want you to have to
No.
rehabilitate yourself. And that's been the norm. That's been what has been going on across a lot of these institutions within the TDCJ. Every person that have come on this show, they had to rehabilitate themselves. They had to find ways to rehabilitate themselves. They went to school. They tried to do this, and then a lot of them they've taken the schooling. They've taken the trades. They've taken those things that will help them to be productive citizens, to re-enter society. They've taken it out. They only have it in certain facilities. They only do this in certain facilities. So what about and then why is stuff only
Yeah, this
done
facility,
at certain facilities?
it,
Like our facilities,
yeah, this facility
everybody
doesn't show much.
deserves a chance. Everybody deserves a second chance because if the truth be told, a lot of these people that are walking around here free should be behind prison walls. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
because of grace and mercy that a lot of us did not it did not end up in prison. But if you
Yep.
and I keep telling people, it's gonna take these families. That's why I'm urging every one of these everybody that come on this show. I want you to have a family member contact me because we're gonna have to go down to those to that state house, those capitals, and march on those steps and stand on those steps and hold those signs. Go knock on some of these DA's offices. Go knock on the governor's office and demand that the Department of Justice come here and evaluate. I'm willing to come from South Carolina to Texas to do this because enough is
Yeah,
enough.
and yes, enough. Yeah, enough is enough. And what we try and do here, like it's good that you touched on us rehabilitating ourselves because that's basically what I had to do. I had to rehabilitate myself all the way, and a lot of times things don't change until it happens to somebody that's up there that has political power and things like that. That's just the way it is. That's just the way of life here in Texas. Because if something happens to one of their family members, then things change. Other than that, nothing really changes. It's all the same. It's a cycle. I mean, I've been in prison with guys that, and I still keep in touch with them that were incarcerated 20 plus years, and they were denied parole because they said that the nature of the crime, is never going to change because that's what you were convicted for. But yet, for parole to use that excuse of the nature of the crime, you're getting a set off a year or 2 year set off. Come on, there's
But you
supposed to
look
be
at the
people that are
people.
there.
Look at the people that head the parole board. What are they? They're former TDCJ officers. They're former police officers. They're
Yeah,
former DAs, former prosecutors, former judges. That who
yep,
holds up the parole board. What about the psychologists? Well, what about the mental health specialists? What about the community
yes,
activists? What about those people that actually that run the paroles? That actually monitor the parole system. Why can't these people sit on these boards and say, okay, well, this has worked because they're out there working with
yeah,
these people. They're out there working with
yeah,
these programs. These are, and they need to reevaluate. And this got to come from the government because your governor, he's changed the way that the parole board is set up. He did that. And if you look
They
at
sure did.
some of the other states and how their parole board is set up, even back to, you mentioned that you was a juvenile. You go back and you look at the different things that have transpired over the years concerning juveniles. If other states can pass laws that say that, hey, this was a child, and up until they turn 25 or 21, whichever one that scientifically have been proven that these kids are not capable or rational enough to conceptualize what they have done. It has been proven. The state of New York is one of those states that have took on that juvenile law, and a lot of these people are coming home that were convicted as juveniles are now coming home. We had an individual on the show that was I'm talking about weeks fresh out of prison because they got 44 years backed up because of that law. And this is what needs to take place. You got Congress people that are in place that know that this is an issue, and they put these things on the board. We see them, and then
Yeah.
they get hung up. They get caught up. Why they get caught up? And then there's always some wording. Okay, well, take the wording out, put the
Yeah.
right words in, and put it back on the ticket. And then while y'all hiding it, why don't y'all allow the public to vote for some of these things? Just like with the 13th Amendment, it needs to be taken out of the Constitution because it gives these people a right to have free labor. They should be paying these people to
Yep.
work. Because think about it, they got family on the outside. Y'all always talking about it, the tax money, this tax money, that. Okay, well, you're getting double money because the taxpayers are supposedly paying for y'all to run y'all operations, and then y'all making money off of these operations that the tax money paying for y'all to run. How is y'all benefiting? Then y'all getting, yeah, man, it's so much. And then you look at the people that's in
Yeah.
charge of it, and
Yeah.
you can
It's so
guarantee
much.
a lot of these political people have a lot of ties to what going on behind this prison system, and they are benefiting monetarily. They getting some kind of kickbacks because if these people wouldn't, they would be standing up. Because what if this was your family member? I ask these people all the
Yeah.
time when I see them out here doing stuff, and they always talking about they for the people. There's a lot of Congress people that are on that's gonna hear this message. They're on the page. Carlos Sherman. He follows the Free Texas campaign, has liked some of the stuff. We need him to stand up and do something about this stuff. We need him to stand up and expose the corruption that is taking place in the state of Texas. And there's so many people. We need the citizens to stand up. Allow your voice to be heard. Don't sit quiet. Go vote in these these local races when they have different things on the ticket. Vote and allow your voice to be heard. Not only that, come to these capitals. Express your right to express. You have the right to speak out. You have the right to make sure that these people are doing what they're supposed to do. Call for transparency. Call for these people to be accountable. Just like they acquitted Paxton. That man should have never been acquitted. Should have never been
No.
acquitted. He should have been impeached and out of office.
That's Texas.
That's what needed to have been
That's
done.
Texas for you. That's Texas for you. The thing has come on the ballot since 2013 for them to change the law a little bit for the 17 years for the juvenile, but it's always stonewalled by wording, as you said, by being. And here's the thing: is that their lawmakers, they're put in place to change laws as the law should be fit to be changed, not to use their emotions to change the law or to sway votes from other congressmen or congresswomen that are up there. And what's happened nowadays is that our representatives are using their personal emotions to dictate how another senator or Republican or representative makes their vote. And that's simply not fair. That's not what our democracy was made upon. Our democracy was made upon to make decisions for the people that were of sound mind and would not use emotion, yet use the law that's in place to make things right. But everything has flipped. Democracy is run on emotion now. Everything is run on emotion, and that's not fair for the people here in Texas because we're never going to get anywhere. We're never going to get anywhere. They're worried about the immigrants coming in from Mexico. They're worried about all this other stuff that's happening. Yet There's a lot of here where people are dying, people are malnourished, people don't get no medical attention. People commit suicide, people steal from other people. There's a lot of stuff that's happening that they're just turning the blind eye. Yet they can make that change, but because of their emotions, their emotional ties to whatever the situation is, gets in the way and sways other people to do their bidding. And that's what happened this last time when Congress went into session, where the juvenile law almost passed, yet Thomas, I think her name was, she came in and she was saying, "Oh no, I'm for the people, I'm doing this," and she put her heart out into it and emotion, not by what the law states, but by how she felt, and it swayed everybody in the other direction. And as you said earlier, they were stonewalled. It didn't go anywhere. They said because of the wording. And here it is. We were juvenile, and I understand. I should pay my time for the crime that I did, but they were putting us to do 30 years flat before we come up for parole. Or a combination, it's been 20 years flat. So it's one of those things too, where it's like you fought it with all your emotion, and you got all these people behind you because of emotion, and not because of the law. And what the Supreme Court has already ruled, that a 17-year-old is a juvenile, yet because every state is sovereign, it's holding on to that sovereignty and not changing the law because it doesn't benefit them in any way. Because if they do change the law, there's going to be a lot of people that are up for parole and they get to go home. And as you said, it's a money issue. The money issue, and it wants to launch every money that they can hold on to. I mean, we're living in the dorm that I live in. There's pipes that are literally wrapped around with string and rubber so that they won't leak. Yet, where is all the money for the maintenance to fix it so we can live right? We're living in a third world country in here, yet nobody knows, and our outcry goes upon deaf ears. So
yeah, because they don't respond. You right. They don't respond. You reach out to Congress people. They don't respond. You reach out to Brian Collier, who's the executive director of TDCJ. They don't respond.
Yeah.
And it's an issue. And like I said, the Department of Justice is need to come in and need to do a clean sweep. I'm talking about they need to clean up these prisons. They need to make these prisons habitable, because where you're at is not the only one. You talk about the women's prison hobby. You talk about the hobby unit. The young lady say it smells straight like sewage. She say it's mold everywhere, and I mean it's just it's sickening and it's sad. She said it went in the summertime. Now, this is what's sad. In the summertime, she say, if you want cold water, she say, you got to drink out the toilet. Now, who? That is sad. Like, something that is beyond humane. Well, with your 1 minute, I want you to put a plea out to the people before it hang up on you. Please, plead to the people.
Everybody that's out there that's listening to me and listening to us in this podcast, please take heed to all of your politicians, all your lawmakers, and please go out there and vote. The only way to make a change is you got to go out there and vote and really get informed of what's going on. This year is just the tip of the iceberg. Y'all can get well informed on the phone, and your apps and everything. Please help as many people as y'all can, because not everybody deserves to be treated in the way we have been treated all these years in prison and TDC. And I thank all of y'all for listening to me and to Angela, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in once again. Like I say, I'm going to be bringing these shows to you guys as often as these individuals can come on and share. Like I say, I have about 45 individuals that has a story, and you're going to hear the similarities, things that have happened within the judicial system, and things that are happening behind the walls once they get in the judicial system. Y'all, we have to stop this corruption, and it has to stop now. It's been going on for decades, and it's time for people to take notice. It's time for people to stop turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to what is happening right before you in plain sight. It's time to wake up. It's time to be that change that you desire to see in this world. So I encourage you, I implore you to get involved in the Free Texas campaign. Get involved. Even if you're not in Texas, you can play a part. You can help us write the governor. You can help us write the congressman. You can help us write the representative. Not only that, you can write these inmates and find out where they are, what's going on, and how you can better assist them. If you don't want to go through me, you can connect with them. But most importantly, y'all, we have to speak up. When we see something, we have to do something about it. Be that change that you desire to see. I am the queen, and I'll be back, y'all. I have two more interviews on today. We have one that's going to be starting at 12:45 in 5 minutes. So y'all come back if you can. If you would, please share this in your circle of influence.